All right, welcome into the Broadway Shuffle. Live reaction to the news. Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech are mutually parting ways. Wow. Conrad Mills, Clayton Anderson with me here on the Broadway Shuffle. A shocking turn of events here on a Monday night. On 3 reporting, Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech are mutually parting ways. That's per Pete Nakos. Conrad, we have talked about it's been the talk of the sports world outside of the New York Knicks winning the NBA Finals the last week. Your thoughts when this news broke just 40 minutes ago?
Uh, Man, there's so many things that you could say about this. There's the conversation about the actual situation. Then there's the conversation about what's best for Texas Tech, what's best for Brendan Sorsby. But my initial reaction when I got the alert was relief. We've spent the last what months talking about this, and now there's a resolution. Um, I'm happy it's over. I think there's a lot of different reactions, but my initial reaction is relief, even though I still don't think losing eligibility over this is right. I don't think the punishment fit the crime. But nonetheless, we're here. So Clayton, your initial thoughts on the news.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you're saying. I think it's probably best for all parties to move on. That's kind of been my stance for a while. Like, I think the public outrage was definitely too far and just way too uh, you know hyperbolic in most cases. But I also think that uh, you know y- him playing was not the only way to to back to his journey on mental health. I think the 2 game suspension wasn't enough. I think it's honestly my analogy is kind of like marriage. Like, you just kind of you got to pick your battles, and I feel like this was not one. If I was Texas Tech, that I would pick, considering you have a QB like Will Hammond behind him, and Sorsby has never played it down for Tech. Like, I wouldn't, risk my public perception versus the entire college football world for that. And I'm glad that it got here, even though the last week has been a whirlwind.
Yeah, obviously, I thought from Texas Tech's perspective, my stance on this the last 2 weeks had been that Texas Tech was justified in their handling of the case leading into the injunction. Now, you can question how Texas Tech handled the public relations, marketing, and the reaction the last week, though they were in a very tough position. It was a lose lose situation in a sense because you feel
Mhm.
like you're defending your players' mental health, gambling addiction battle. That's your words coming out. And then you see the uproar and you see what the national media and the shock of the injunction ruling, and Texas Tech was probably just as shocked. And so you had 5, 6 days to figure out how do we handle this ruling and decision for Brendan Sorsby. And at the end of the day, it appeared to be too much for both sides. And I want to make sure as well too in this too that as this has been reported just 40 minutes ago, we do not know the details yet. This could have been Brendan Sorsby and his team going to Texas Tech. This could have been Texas Tech reaching out to them. They both could have gotten to a room and said, "What do we need to do to just move on from this situation?" I want to make sure that we're careful just to make assumptions that this was Texas Tech feeling like it just got too hot to handle and they had to move on. I would imagine there was some of that on Brendan Sorsby's side as well because we've heard a lot of arguments, and I think they're justified and accurate that would this have been better for him to play football under these conditions for his mental health if that is really what we're looking out for. And Conrad, at the end of the day, it seems like that would have been too much, and I think that would have been a lot for anybody. I still hold to my opinion that a lot of schools would have handled this the same way, and that Texas Tech was very, very diligent in their approach on handling the mental health side of this. But at the end of the day, when that injunction came down, I think the entire world had its eyes on your school, and you had to pivot. And I think they made the right call. It's okay to acknowledge that Texas Tech made the right call here, and for everyone online that's going to feel like this is somehow still going to be Texas Tech's fault, you can shut up. I mean, the integrity of the sport is now safe, and so you can all relax and
It
have a good
was
summer.
always safe. It was always safe. The NCAA even admitted that his betting did not compromise the integrity of the game. And I think that's for me, that I think more than Brendan Sorsby, more than Texas Tech. Um, I think the outrage online. I mean, we even got an alert earlier this evening about Michigan canceling an upcoming tennis match against Texas Tech. And it's like, really? The school that cheated to win a national championship is going to hold the moral high ground over a school that has done nothing illegal, nothing wrong, and was going to play an eligible player. I think that's for me what's been the weirdest thing to watch, and honestly the most frustrating thing to watch about this. I think Texas Tech, by and large, I mean, no one's perfect in any situation, but by and large, I think they did the right thing. I just keep coming back to the point of you're not going to stand in front of a team of 18, 22-year-old guys when you create the culture that Coach McGuire's created. And when someone makes a mistake, no matter how big, well, maybe there are a couple that, you kill somebody, you're done. But like this, it's not, it's an addiction, it's a problem. And so to immediately resort to that, I think that just would have been so out of touch with the culture at Texas Tech. And so I think that's been the most frustrating part. But I'm glad this is over. It's just the online discourse that's been really frustrating to watch and be a part of in a sense, because again, Brennan, like you said, I do think a lot of schools would have handled this the exact same way Texas Tech did.
Yeah, Clayton, now that we're seeing the fact that what's happening, and again, this happened 40 minutes ago, we're live reacting here on YouTube. It seems like maybe this was maybe it was Texas Tech, maybe it was Sorsby, maybe his parents. I mean, this young man is 22 years old going through a public relation crisis that 99.9% of us will never have to see in our lifetime, unless you choose to tweet fun stuff on Twitter, then you might get something, towards you. But at the end of the day, I just think the online discourse, it was, I don't think that's the reason. Like, I think a lot of people are just going to assume, Clayton, that oh, Texas Tech couldn't handle it. Like, what happened to protecting Brendan's mental health? And Texas Tech, I think they stayed 100%, whether you agree or disagree with it, to their word on what they were doing to help Brendan Sorsby. And maybe there were some tea leaves going on with Kirby Hocutt saying we're taking this week to week, and Joey McGuire saying he might not be ready for week 3. Maybe this isn't like going to happen. And they obviously knew more. I've been saying for the last week, they know more than we do, and they're not stupid. So at the end of the day, Texas Tech's administration and athletic department, I believe, handled this about as well as they could have. And we don't have to see Brendan Sorsby play in the game. And the quote unquote fear of if he plays, the integrity of the game, Conrad, to your point, will be ruined. None of that has to happen. And everyone can just go on hating Texas Tech because they just choose to hate Texas Tech.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think Tech did anything wrong. I think it was good that they stood up for their player. I think that will go a long way. And, showing future recruits or whoever it is that will stand up for you through your mistakes. Like, we fight for our players, you're your family. Like we touched on, I think they could have handled it a little differently in the last week since the injunction was granted. But yeah, I mean, I cannot fault them for doing that. I think a lot of programs in their same situation would have done the same thing. But I think honestly, the noise was growing so loud, and I think it was gonna die down before the season, but then pick back up. I think it would have just been a huge distraction throughout the season. I'm glad that the team doesn't have to deal with that. I think that would have just been tough on everyone. And I think this being what it was making Sorsby being a great QB less likely by the day. Not saying that wouldn't have happened, but I think it'd be so hard to just compartmentalize all this and strictly focus on football while you're dealing with all this scrutiny. So I think, yeah, it'll just be good not to have the distraction. But
Connie, we were laughing earlier that the funniest
Did you
outcome
just
of
call
this,
me Connie?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Nobody better call me that in the comments. Nobody better
I
call
thought
me
you were addressing someone in the comments.
No. I actually got a text. I actually got a text from a commenter said you won't call him Connie, and I did. So you're welcome, Ty. But like when you look at this, I feel like I totally lost my train of thought when you see what the Big 12 did, how Texas Tech handled this. Brendan Sorsby now gone. It feels to me like, oh, I know. We were laughing earlier about Will Hammond. The funniest outcome of all of this was Will Hammond still playing quarterback for Texas Tech and you running through the Big 12 and not having to deal with the Brendan Sorsby, so everyone can just be mad anyways. And now you have the opportunity to get that outcome. And unfortunately, I think I might have given you a new nickname officially, Connie.
Yeah, it looks like you have. Hey man, I'll own it. People have said meaner things about Brendan Sorsby on their internet this past week, but Brendan, I think you're right. I mean, I My position on how weak the Big 12 is has been well documented on this podcast. I'm not going to rehash that. Um, does that mean that Texas Tech doesn't have an incredible football team? Absolutely not. I think this team is going to be absolutely dominant, regardless of if it was Will Hammond as the quarterback, Brendan Sorsby as the quarterback. You repeat without question this year in the Big 12 if Baron Morton's your quarterback. And so I think for me, this makes me think, okay, we've got to back it up, obviously. Um, but I do think that'll happen, and I think it's just frustrating that this was the reaction for a school like Texas Tech. And we talked about this earlier via text and Discord.
Um,
Um,
Conrad,
Go ahead, Brendan.
I want to read this to you. President Skuvenex released an email. Texas Tech community earlier this evening. Texas Tech University Board of Regents Chairman Cody Campbell issued an update on Brendan Sorsby and announced that he will not be a member of the Red Raider football team this fall. When Brendan's lawsuit resulted in granting of a temporary injunction, we found ourselves in a difficult situation. With his health and wellness as our top priority, we supported him in spite of very different perspectives and opinions. Our position was challenged by many, but our support for him never changed. We will continue to extend all available resources that Brendan had as a student and athlete to ensure his transition as successful as possible. We heard from many Red Raiders, and we appreciate your passion. Please know that Texas Tech will continue to be a constructive voice in matters related to health and well-being for all students. So staying true to the like that's where I still feel like Texas Tech is justified here. This was a decision mutually. I have been receiving text from different sources and people that say, Sorsby's parents and Tech wanted this to end up like move on. It just seemed like both parties were ready to say, like, let's get out of here. But Texas Tech stayed true to what they were doing. And Skuvenek and Kirby and Joey, I think, regardless of how you feel about the video, I think that statement there shows that this was for them about seeing through the mental health and backing a student like they would do for any student athlete. Your thoughts, Clayton, on Skuvenek's email?
Yeah, I think that was well written. I think you're exactly right, though. Like, Tech would have stood by Sorsby had he not wanted to go to the draft. But that doesn't mean that they're not relieved that this was the decision agreed upon by all parties. Like, I think it's just best for everyone.
They are very relieved.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't have, fought for him through the season, supported him, gone against everyone else, the Big 12, whatever. And I appreciate that about the staff and the school that, they're willing to stand up to for their guys. It's going to be interesting, like the fall, like, is everything just done now? Like all the Big 12 meetings, those are just done. We're good to go.
They have to be. I mean, Texas Tech didn't do
there's nothing
anything
else to
illegal, didn't do anything wrong. They even if they would have played Brendan too, though, that's the crazy part. If they would have played him in week 3 against Houston, they still wouldn't have done anything wrong under the current circumstances, and yet people were still up in arms. And that's why before we started the show, I said to you guys, this starts a very, very, very dangerous precedent. A very dangerous precedent.
Regardless of, and as our fourth member of the team, Zyler Buchanan, coming in hot here live show. Yeah, Clayton, that's one side. I know Zyler will have a lot of thoughts on this too. Big 12, you're suing Texas Tech. You've got Big 12 media days in 3 weeks. That's going to be crazy. But this still might have ended the Big 12 as we know it. I mean, I still feel like relationships might have been officially fractured and severed here. We'll have to see when realignment comes up. But Zyler, here you are, man. Welcome. Your thoughts on this whole situation?
Yeah, I think you guys have nailed a lot of it. I listened to most of your commentary, and I furiously typed my angry thoughts. One, I am very much looking forward to all of the people that were saying we are on the verge of a Power 2 invite with the way that our program's trajectory was going, to rescinding all of those comments and saying welcome to the Big Ten or the SEC when the media rights come up, saying that this was ruining our chances. Now that we've gotten this out of the way, I'm glad that we can look forward to that invite in the next couple of years. Glad that everybody could inform us of that. Also, the Michigan Athletic Department, you just look so stupid.
Yeah, and it was volleyball, not tennis. It was volleyball, not tennis.
Your coach, you've gotten. I don't even want to talk about how stupid it is that Michigan's going to claim to take the moral high ground. I think it's like 13 coaches have been arrested in the last 10 years for crimes of all varieties. And they're going to come at Texas Tech University and say, you know what? scheduling a volleyball match against Lubbock, and that's just too far for our athletic department. Sharon Moore is still not Sharon Moore. What's their AD's name? Albert something. Is still employed by the University of Michigan as their athletic department. The guy who hired, the Fab Five guy.
Ward Manuel.
Justin Howard.
Ward Manuel. He's hired Sharon Moore. He's hired Jim Harbaugh. He's hired Jawan Howard, a coach that literally fought somebody on the sideline. But you know what? Scheduling a volleyball game against Texas Tech was a bridge too far. That's where he drew the line. Ridiculous stuff. Cannot stand the way that some of these programs have morally grandstanded. Just unbelievable stuff, especially Michigan and Georgia. Like, I cannot believe that. I'm angry about that. Relieved that we won't have to worry about the Sorsby stuff. I think I echo a lot of your guys' comments. I think they would have been justified playing him. I'm kind of happy they took this decision. I have never wanted to win a Big 12 title more than I've wanted to this year. I hope we run up the score on Cincinnati. I hope they don't have enough. I hope there's 0 people in the stands by the time we're done playing that game, that it's that bad. That's what I'm hoping for here. I hope we go scorched earth. I hope the players are as mad as I am.
Should we sue Cincinnati? Should we sue Cincy for playing
why not?
Should everyone now turn their anger towards Cincinnati for playing the ineligible player last year and the integrity of the game? Z, you're right. I mean, the moral high ground, the moral police, whether online, in the media, for this situation as a whole, it was just comical, like completely comical. And a lot of these institutions and universities that acted like they were holier than thou probably have more skeletons in the closet than Texas Tech does. And so Certainly. It was just, I'm glad it's over from the sense that we as a program can just focus on winning football games, which we're going to do. I mean, if you're talking
win all
competition,
all of them,
this team is still very good. You're still at the top of the Big 12. You obviously need a Will Hammond to stay healthy to have the best chance, or Kirky franchise to do some great things in games 1 and 2 and maybe be there as a serviceable backup. But it seems like this is only going to make it much more sweeter for us with the Big 12Z and how they handled this the last couple of days. Every game for us. I mean, I think Blanchard might have tweeted earlier today, like, can't wait for football season. This is going to be, I think, one of the most go prove it. Like, Joey doesn't need any chalkboard material this year. It's already written for Texas Tech.
And I'm sorry I'm talking a lot. I think Joey is going to circle the wagons in a way that you have never seen. I think he's going to have these guys just absolutely amped and ready to go. And you're exposed a little bit. You know, you got a QB coming off an ACL injury. You're going to have the rest of the team step up. Maybe Will Hammond won't be as good as you thought. And so, hey, those guys that are available, you know, it's time to get after it. Look at how every single institution in the country came after your guy. That's how we'll spin it. Now, Sorsby made a bunch of repeated and stupid decisions, and he is now reaping the consequences for that. I will not shed a tear for Brendan and his folly. Joey can use that to say, look at how they massacred my boy. Now let's go get him. You know? That's what I think he'll do. And Joey, for all of his complaints that people say, you know, not a great coach, he is great at the people side of this. Excellent at the people side and the motivation side of this, and that's why you have him as your head coach.
Right. Conrad, I do want to stay on like the Brendan Sorsby situation though, and still get your thoughts on that, because do you feel like this, like Texas Tech, we talked about this on our episode on Monday, that they might have a game plan in place to, when we weren't really sure, is Texas Tech going to actually suit Brendan Sorsby up in the fall if he did stay? These conversations, like, this wasn't a last minute decision. What is your opinion on how this came to be? On where do you think this happened? And do you feel like Texas Tech might have been preparing for this moment middle of last couple days?
Yeah, I think this is probably, again, you said it earlier, Brandon, we've said throughout this process, these individuals who are in these positions at Texas Tech University, they are not dumb. They're some of the smartest people in the world. They've done a really good job at this. Kirby Hillcutt has done a fantastic job his entire tenure. Look at what Texas Tech Athletic was before. Look at where it is now. They have had these conversations. They have explored every possible avenue. Did they expect it to be like this? No, I didn't. You guys didn't. We never thought it could get to this. I didn't think he was going to get the injunction. I thought it was maybe likely, but I didn't think it was going to happen. And so I think when you look at this and the conversations that were had, I think you definitely had conversations. What it took to get to this point, though, we'll never know because we were not in these rooms. But Brendan, to your point, I wanted to say something about Brendan Sorsby as well. All of us have maintained that he did some really dumb things, a lot. Like he did that a lot. Not one of us ever denied that he made mistakes and that he went against the rules. All we were saying, I think collectively, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the punishment did not fit the crime. There was obviously something going on mentally with him that he made these I mean, obviously he's got to take responsibility, and he is, and he did. But also at the same time, there was an addiction there. That's pretty obvious based on the number of bets, based on the amount of money, all of those things. I will
I
say
tell you
now on
what
the backside
punishment.
of
Oh,
this,
go ahead, please continue.
or I will say I'm on the backside of this. Um, really frustrating to me as somebody who stepped foot on the campus of Texas Tech for the first time in 2014 to now being an alumni, that this player and his actions put your university in this place.
Z, go ahead.
That really frustrates me.
I tell you what crime will, or what punishment will fit the crime, is the box score of the Texas Tech Cincinnati game. That is going to be a punishment that will fit the crime.
Clayton, here's one thing too that I think at least all four of our opinions, and independently and from a show perspective, is, and I'm getting a lot of this online right now, we not once defended Brendan Sorsby. Like, we defended Brendan Sorsby and his ability to legally sue, and that's what the NCAA and the process allows. But I don't think anybody, it's on our show, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, we're like, free Brendan, and like, play, I can't, who cares that he broke a rule? Let's have him play 12 games. He shouldn't be suspended. There's no punishment for it. Allow gambling between players. We never said any of that. We've been defending Texas Tech's ability to defend Brendan Sorsby and the ability to stay like under the legal system with the injunction that was allowed. We've been defending Texas Tech's right to that process. Brendan Sorsby, to us, now that he's gone,
Well,
I mean, it's a blimp. It's a blimp in your program's history.
I want to get to. Oh, go ahead, Conrad. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I'll just say I still do not think the outrage and the demands that he be ruled permanently ineligible for what he did are justified, given how other people threatened the well-being of society and they suit up 6 games later. Feel like that is massively inconsistent, and I have no patience for that. So I'll stand on that opinion.
Want to get to some of the comments. A lot of people in here, and I do want to get some of that. One, if you're not in our Discord, man, there's a lot of people with some great one-liners in here. If you're not in the Discord, shoot me a DM on Twitter. We'd love to get you added in there. We had a lot of great conversation going on in there. A lot of fun. Conrad gets bullied incessantly, so if that's something you're really into, Connie, just
Connie, get it.
Connie.
Connie.
I'll change my name in there.
Well, Clayton, but your thoughts, Clayton. Sorry, I was asking Clayton a question. But your thoughts on that side of it, like this was a 2 to 3 week,
It was a 1 week thing.
It was a 1 week
from
thing,
the
really, once the
injunction
injunction came down. You're right.
Mhm.
But I think the comments are, well, Texas Tech was defending Brendan Sorsby and he doesn't have to play. And now it's, well, now what are you going to say? Now Texas Tech's going back on their word. The argument falls short for me that this somehow now is Texas Tech going back on their word.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we all on this show said that he probably shouldn't be eligible. We said last show that the suspension should be longer than 2 games. So I think we were all in the middle. And I've been critical of like Tech's PR strategy, but like I do wonder, like, what do people expect after the injunction was granted? Like, they're just gonna be like, the judge did say this, but we're still not gonna play him. Actually, like,
we're gonna take the moral high ground.
Yeah, no other school, as the ticket in Dallas said here, no other school would do that. I must be the biggest liar of all time if I think any other school would have followed that path. You idiots.
Can I talk,
Bob Sturm, or whatever your name is?
One, there's a guy, Colin Covington, who's making a lot of great comments. We had an Iowa State fan, and I appreciate you commenting. He said, this is the right outcome. Sorsby made a mistake, just like Deckers. Hope that Tex helps a little with Sorsby's treatment. That's something that they did better than Iowa State. And I think that goes to Brennan's point earlier about how I do think they are actually committed to that, even if it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. You're a great football player, and that's why you're doing it. But we're also doing this because we support you as a student athlete. I have a question, and I posed this on Twitter and kind of not crucified, but got really roasted for it. If this exact same situation played out at LSU, does the SEC band together and sue Louisiana State University? Do you think that would ever happen? And I think the answer is very clearly
No.
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 No chance.
And that's the thing that is not frustrating, because I think it's the same case, but it's like, why? And I'm not going to litigate. I understand why the institutions are mad that a player that gambled on his own sports playing. You don't got to explain that to me. That doesn't make sense. Not why is Tech treated differently than LSU, because they're very different programs, of course, certainly. But the vitriol that I think the other Big 12 institutions have for Texas Tech, and maybe I'm misreading it, maybe it's just too online. I don't get it. Not that I don't get it. I don't know. It's just confusing to me in some senses.
Well, and Z, to your point, like, was this? I think there is a side of this. The Big 12 going after Texas Tech. That was made clear this morning. I mean, there was a case going this morning, and then not 10 hours later, Brendan Sorsby's parted ways with Texas Tech. Like, what does this do for the relationship within the conference? Anybody?
Yeah, I think it's going to take some mending. Like, I'm sure that Kirby and everyone in the tech department is not just now cool with the rest of the conference. And I think there's a lot of athletic departments that are probably like chill with it now, but I think there will be lasting impacts with some people and with Tech's like relationship with Yormark and like just the conference office as well.
Oh no, Gene Taylor's going to be upset at Texas Tech. Like, boo-hoo. Like, I don't care.
By the way, Kansas State fans are some of the most insufferable fan base. What have they ever done? They've been some of the worst ones online.
They made an Elite Eight with Jerome Tang.
They did.
I will
they
say
did win a Big 12 title before you did.
That's true.
Come on, I wasn't asking.
I will say,
come on, Z, I wasn't asking for a.
I'm sorry. Come on.
There is a comment.
I was thankful for that.
There is a comment in the chat that I just want to reference real quick. It says hypotheticals are the dumbest things to argue or to what. Somebody else commented. Hypotheticals are the dumbest things to argue about. I'm assuming that's in reference to LSU. What I'll also say is the response to that is all the people online saying my athletic department would not have handled it this way. That's a hypothetical as well. So just want to point that out.
It's a great point.
And I just want to turn that around real quick.
Also, Justice for Flagship, thank you for commenting and donating. You are not banned from the Discord. You got muted for 24 hours because all the crap you were talking about the Texas softball team. You still have posting privileges. You just got put in timeout. So sorry about that. But that was to prevent me from saying something that would get me in trouble online. So that was an act of restraint, I guess. Again, if you want to be in the Discord, shoot me a message on Twitter. It's a lot of fun.
So I'm trying to see more news coming out too. So Cody Campbell just tweeted this statement 27 minutes ago, said that Tech will not seek the return of any money paid to Brendan Sorsby. So that's an interesting development too. So whatever money was given to Brendan Sorsby, there will not be what appears to be a settlement. It seems like everybody's just kind of shaking hands and is moving forward with that too. That's Pete Thamel is reporting that. That was 20 minutes ago. Where does this go? I mean, like, where do we think this goes moving forward? Texas Tech, when do you think it settles down? Big 12 media days are in 3 weeks. The season, obviously, like, what does this mean for Texas Tech now, big picture in 2026?
I think, as far as this settling down, I think people will stop talking about this in 3 days. I mean, there's nothing left to discuss, really. I mean, he'll go to the supplemental draft, which will be interesting. But as far as how it will relate to this college football season, you know, I feel horrible for not Will and Kirk, but no pressure, Will. Coming off an ACL, we're going to need to lead you. You're going to have to lead us to a place we've only gone once in our entire history. And we would like you to dominate everybody while you do it too. Hope that's not too much pressure for a 21-year-old.
Bridget or Zyler, I'll say this though, man. There's no person I would rather have in that spot than Will Hammond. There's nobody. By all accounts, I mean, he's ready for this moment, guys. Waited for 2 years, flashed mightily in several games he's played in. Not a perfect player, not a finished product, but if there's anybody ready for this moment, it's Will Hammond. So I cannot wait to see Will Hammond go win the Heisman this year.
Sorry, real quick. Just imagine if in the Will Hammond spot we had like Jet Duffy.
Oh my God.
And Sorsby declares, and you know you're stuck with that for a season.
It's McLean Carter trotting on the field. No.
I want to read this tweet to you guys because I think this is kind of where the narrative is at for a lot of people. The collective college football world uniting against Texas Tech and bullying it into getting rid of its starting QB. This is the most united we've been as a country in decades. I really don't think that's what happened here. I don't think Texas Tech shield to the pressure. I just do not believe that's what took place here. Do you guys agree with Preston?
I
Do you
think
that,
I think the lawsuit from the Big 12 was the thing that did it. I think because you're going to have to adhere to those bylaws, and they can sanction you and they can remove you from the conference championship game. And I think they maybe thought, is one player worth sacrificing the aspirations of 104 guys plus the whole sports staff? Probably not.
Well, but I still, and I've said it before, this is a dangerous precedent. A dangerous precedent. He was eligible according to a U.S. court, and the conference is going to say, no, we don't agree with that. So we're going to sue and we're going to get what we want. It's like, who has the authority? You would have thought that a U.S. court would have had that authority, has been my argument, but apparently they don't. And so what does this say going forward? If so-and-so school doesn't like that so-and-so's eligible, can they just rein up support and get the conference to be against this guy and then threaten this? Like, is that where we're going in college sports right now?
I mean, that's already happened with the A&M hire of Mark Stoops.
Dude, yeah, I know, but like as a conference level, at the conference level, though. I know that's like crazy scenario, but that's what happened here.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to become common.
No, and I agree, Clayton. Comment from Jaden Reckham. Love the show. Just started listening in 2025. I think Will Hammond is going to surprise a lot of people. Maybe for good, maybe for bad. We will see. But yeah, going to be a lot of pressure on him. Here's the other thing. There needs to be a reckoning on some of the hysterical things that media members said about this whole situation. It was not that big of a deal. And people claiming that Texas Tech needed to have their own special transfer portal for players to transfer out in the month of June. Like, are you serious? That's just
the coach, the anonymous coach who said he needs to bring in a Vegas expert to teach them about betting, decide which games they're going to try hard. That was worse than anything that Sorsby has done.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That if you are a coach and you think that way, that has to be there's only a couple guys that can be. That's Lance Leipold, that's Scott Satterfield, or that's Spike Dykes or Sonny Dykes. Those are the only three. Like, and I'm almost positive it was Satterfield. Like, what a stupid thing to say. Just.
Do y'all think, I don't know if this is a good question or not, but do you think that, where do you go from here in the landscape of college football? Like, do you think everybody in not everybody, but the Texas Tech fan base shares my sentiment of like, we can't stand this conference, can we get out of here type of deal? Like, is that going to be the sentimental view of everyone? Like, hey, we want to get out now? Because at one point there was like, oh, we're going to save the Big 12. And now it's like, well, what are we going to do? What do you guys think the large in part opinion will be of Texas Tech fans about the Big 12?
I feel like really this is going to sound a little goofy, but since the tortilla banning, like the 15-1 mantra has kind of just been there. And I think this might just double down on that. Like, I'm not going to necessarily say it's because no one else wanted us to throw tortillas at our game and we said, well, F this conference. But in a way, I think it is kind
of. Brennan, we can't hear you.
We lost your mic a little bit. You'll have to unplug and redo. But I think Brennan brings up a good point. How fractured is the relationship? But then too, there's the question of, it doesn't matter how fractured the relationship is. If you don't have anywhere to go, you can't say, I hate this house, I'm going to live on the street. Like that's not a solution. You got to have another house to go to. And I don't think that Tech is in a position yet to say, yeah, we're going to walk over next door and we're going to live with the SEC, or we're going to live with the Big Ten, or we're going to live with the ACC. I don't think you're in that spot yet. And so while it may be tempestuous, like, you're going to have to ride this wave for a little bit and I think more importantly, mend relationships with some of your conference peers. If those are people that may be leaving this conference later, hey, we're in this together. Don't leave me. I won't stab you in the back. You don't stab me in the back. And that's the thing where I think you do need to mend some relationships. I could care less about mending a relationship with Cincinnati or Houston or any of those schools. TCU, maybe. Oklahoma State, certainly. We need to be tight with that school. Kansas, yeah. Let's be on good terms. I could care less about those other schools.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So is it also, what does realignment really look like as well too, Z? I mean, is it back to regionality in 5 years? Is it really the SEC and Big Ten forming a super league? In my mind too, when I look at this, Clayton, like as long as you're guaranteed a seat at the table for the college football playoff, whatever that looks like, I don't really care what conference you're in. Like if you stay in the Big 12 and that's what you're in, but you get to continue to go to the playoff and compete for a national championship, at the end of the day, that's really all I care about in this modern era of college football. It's about getting to the playoff. So if the Big 12 allows you access to do that and you're guaranteed a spot by winning that conference, I think I don't know. I don't have a big deal with staying in the conference even if everybody hates us and we're not best buds with all of the ADs.
Who this really worked out for is Yormark. You've created a pariah, somebody that people will really want to watch fail without any of the integrity concerns that would maybe haunt the league. He's the big winner.
Even though Texas Tech did nothing wrong.
Correct.
I was going to say, because he had a ratings monster if Sorsby was playing for us this year, and just online, just buzz. And I know people will still be rooting for Tech to lose each game, but it won't be as
appointment television. Yeah, you're right.
So I do wonder if he deep down kind of wanted Sorsby to be playing.
He was in a tough spot.
And that seemed like the pickle that Yormark was in was, okay, this could be horrible for my league on the sense of what it's doing with the administration and the presidents. But at the same time, week 3 versus Houston, 7 p.m. on Fox, single Friday night game would have been the most watched game of the year for the Big 12 and been a huge ratings hit. And as a commissioner of a league that's trying to stamp your place in the modern era of college football and need TV ratings and need media dollars and polling rights, it is about money. And I think at the end of the day, Yormark probably would have sided with the fact that, guys, this is probably good for our league.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think there's a comment I want to mention. Food Review 0882, he said the house and the street solution was Notre Dame's solution for 50 years. Well, that's true. I don't think you have the cachet to command an independent media rights deal with a sole broadcaster like Notre Dame has with NBC. I don't think NBC is going to pay Tech anything near. And who would you be scheduling?
And just the schedule. Yeah, you're not going to be able to schedule USC in November. We'll
just do a scheduling arrangement with a top 10 program and we'll just play each other every year. That wasn't going to happen. So you don't have the historical cachet, I think, to run as an independent. Even though that might sound enticing, that would be a nightmare. You would be looking at what Washington State did last year, where it's what if we played Oregon State 3 times? Would our fans be on board with that? I don't think so.
How do you guys think, this is pure speculation, but how do you guys think the team feels about this right now? Obviously, we're sitting here on YouTube with all 210 of you in the comments talking about this, but how would y'all think if you were a college football player, if you were Ben Roberts, let's say, if you were Austin Romaine, if you were Micah Hudson, how would you be processing this and thinking about this right now as a Texas Tech student athlete on the football team?
I thought about this earlier today, actually, that what happens, and I think Chris Level might have mentioned it on Locked On as well too, but Brendan Sorsby's one player. You've got to field a team and you've got a roster of 100 guys. And if this gets too big for them, what does that do to the locker room? And I think at the end of the day, this situation probably rallies them more than anything could this offseason outside of you got a target on your back for being the Big 12 champions. I think this is going to be a thing that really brings this locker room together.
I think you're right.
Brendan Sorsby was becoming bigger than the team, and this situation became bigger than the team. And now that's removed, and these guys can focus on each other and love each other and play for each other. It's not going to be week 1, week 2, week 3. What about the Brendan situation? It's going to be, how do we go win this football game as a collective? And I think that bodes well for you.
Brennan, do you mind if I get to 2 comments real quick?
Yeah.
Someone was asking, Brennan, can you talk a little bit about your golf handicap? No, just kidding. OKC Matador said, let's get serious now. Will Hammond's knee. I think The plan is for him to be available week 3. That's the last thing that Joey said. There are whispers and rumors that he could play week 1. Do I think it's worth rushing your probably your only hope at
No.
QB back for Abilene Christian? Maybe if you go to overtime with them, potentially. But I don't think that will be the case. And then we had another question from Reed Thomas. Conrad, do you want to talk about your take about Columbia being better than Hammond?
Yeah, I never said that. That is what has been deemed as fake news in the past by some notable people. So never believed that. I do think. Or go ahead, Brennan.
Cody Campbell released a statement as well, Conrad, but I'll let you get to your thought first.
No, you go. There's something important there.
I won't read the whole thing, but from Cody, this was tonight. He started with the alma mater, strive for honor. We always try to do what is right, even when the right thing is not popular. We are not swayed or affected by criticism or opinions from the outside of Red Raider family. So kind of suggesting what we talked about a little earlier, that I don't know if the outside pressure really had an impact on this decision on a whole. Recently, the situation regarding Brendan Sorsby has been put that to the test, but through it all, Texas Tech acted with the utmost integrity in following all NCAA protocol, provided complete transparency, and cooperated with them in every possible way. Contrary to popular belief, Texas Tech's only objectives have been to protect the well-being and best interest of one of our new student, his fellow student athletes, our institution, and our community. It goes on, Texas Tech acted appropriately, background checks before signing Brendan. He was a great teammate. Further information about gambling. And essentially, he ends it with, all of this is to be said that I inform you that Brendan Sorsby will no longer be a part of the Texas Tech football team this fall. He'll be stripped of the opportunity to continue to develop as a better and stronger man, stripped of his last opportunity to compete at the highest level of college sports. And I pray that he can stay on his path to recovery.
He used the word stripped. Brennan, I can't hear you. That's an interesting word. If that is the word he used, that feels aggressive to me.
Yeah, I feel like that signals that not the pressure of just the general fans backlash, but like the suits from the Big 12, the threatening to sanction. I think that definitely played a part in them feeling like the best option was him going to the supplemental draft.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd use those
the
words.
language. I'm looking at it. He will be stripped of the opportunity to continue to develop. That feels. I'm looking at just this part of it, so I have not read the whole thing. I've just seen what Brendan said. It's a lot longer than what Brendan said. I don't know. That word feels really strong to me based on the past rhetoric. Zyler, you agree, disagree?
I haven't read it yet. I'd have to look. I don't know that I have a comment there. There is somebody in the chat that I want to mention. Biggs 8679. This is for you, Brennan. Colorado generated better TV ratings than Tech last year, and they went 3-9. You had one great season. Simmer down a little bit. Bottom right guy. No comment on your height though, so I think we're improving.
Certainly improving on being called an Oompa Loompa. I get it. I understand Colorado, Deion Sanders coming off the Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Texas Tech might have been a boring watch. I mean, we were crushing everybody by 20 plus points. I think my argument was with Brendan Sorsby and being one of the most high profile, if not the most high profile NCAA rulings, at least in modern NCAA history. And everybody's rooting for your downfall, that would have attracted eyeballs. So whoever that was commenting, they would have watched Texas Tech football. They would have been actively rooting for Texas Tech football to lose. So, yeah, I mean, sure, maybe it was boring last year when you're just crushing everyone by 25, but you would have been watching. What was his name? Who was that?
Yeah, Biggs 8679.
All right, Biggs. Yeah, I'm sure you're taller. I'm sure you're taller than I am. But yeah, you can watch
Farmer Dave. Farmer Dave says, "Tell him, Short King," and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Finally, thank you, Farmer Dave. Farmer Dave always speaks truth in the comments, man.
I do.
What do you think?
Connor,
go ahead, Zyler.
I had a question. You had a thought.
I think this motivates. I mean, I want to see every game by 25 plus, like every single one. Like
we should be trying to score every possession until the final whistle.
You should do that anyway.
Even if we're up 40.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean the Big 12 is not an FCS conference, but it's pretty close. And so if you could win by 35 every single game, I think that would make me really, really happy. So
it's going to be so sad if we lose games to in-state rivals. this year after all of this. Like, if we lose a game to TCU at home, I'm going to go into a mental asylum. Like, on Thanksgiving night. I will abandon my family.
Yeah, I just but wouldn't it have been worse losing if Brendan was your quarterback? Like it would have been way worse.
It does lower the stakes for the
It
season.
lowers the stakes a little bit because now you can't say anything about integrity of the game. Like all the haters, you're just Tech will just have lost a game and people will still laugh. But
dude,
Brendan, I wouldn't tell people online that don't put their names on what they say that they can't say something because they will. They will. Respectfully.
Conrad, I actually did that this morning. I actually responded to a guy. I responded to a guy because he did have his real name on there. And I said, I applaud you for not being a total loser and having your actual name on your Twitter bio while calling me names. So I respect it and I'll give you a response. So I do that occasionally.
Where do y'all think what pick and then what team takes Sorsby in the draft?
I do not care.
Conrad goes from future Heisman Trophy winner Brendan Sorsby to I could care less about this guy and I'll never hear or never want to see his face again.
But can we talk about that from the perspective of Texas Tech fans at this point? About
how you should feel about Brendan?
Yeah, how should you feel? How should you feel?
I don't think
I think this is the perfect time.
No. I think it's a good time. It's a good time to ask. Like,
let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think about Brendan Sorsby at this point.
If we're going to stay true to the institutions supporting his mental health, I think we should be wise not to lambast him for stupid decisions that he made.
Well, I think it's a fair question. We don't have to, but I think it's a fair question to let the commenters ask. Like, how do you feel? I don't have any. I think the only frustration I would feel is that you are coming off such of a high momentum, Conrad, of winning the Big 12. You have great recruiting, another great portal class. Like everything Tech had been doing has just been like hitting on a marketing level. And this totally changed that. It went complete opposite quickly. And so Brendan, obviously, it's fair to say, brought a lot of negative attention to your university because of this. But I don't think Brendan intentionally meant to harm Texas Tech. I don't think Brendan meant to lie to Texas Tech. I think he was in a very tough position. And ultimately, I don't really have a lot of ill feelings towards him. I think if he would have stayed and the summer would have continued to gone on, I would have been more frustrated. I was hoping that Brendan would find a way to maybe recuse himself from this and realize this wasn't best for his future. So I don't like, it's not like I hate the kid. I feel bad for him. I mean, this was a tough spot for anyone to go through and he made some poor choices, but I would love to see Brendan find a way to still have a career. Like I don't wish for a 22-year-old guy to have a miserable life because he made a few mistakes. I think that would be very, I just think that would not be the right way for Texas Tech fans to look at him.
No, and that's not what I was suggesting at all. I think it's just interesting thinking about all the hopes that you had for this guy, all the expectations that were being placed on him. I mean, the highest paid transfer portal quarterback, surely, of the NIL era in college sports. I wonder for me just what it will be looked at what we'll look at it back upon, and maybe next January, next February. It's like, oh, remember this day last year? This is when Sorsby committed. It's one of those things that's almost impossible, really, to evaluate the whole fan base. When I said I don't care what team he goes to, that's a prisoner of the moment take, because what I'm just saying is I'm so glad this is over. He made some really bad choices. Does that mean he's a bad kid? Absolutely not. Bad choices, mistakes, addiction, as some people have said, and is diagnosed. So you can't just blame him for everything, although he certainly does have to be held accountable, which he has been. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how he's remembered long term. But ultimately, at this point, I think it's just exciting for me, and I mean exciting, that it's behind us.
Reed had a question in the comment. What college does Sorsby say for a Sunday Night Football intro? I think he'll say Amalgus Rehabilitation Center. I think that's his shout out to Goodyear, Arizona, I think. But we'll see.
He's going to get looks. I mean, the guy's going to be on a roster. I think. Yeah. I think that he'll be on a roster here in a month. I mean, I believe that.
If you're the Jets, why would you not throw a 6th or 5th round pick at him?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the Cowboys, why not throw a 1st round pick at him?
Yeah. Do you feel like anybody is going? I'm seeing in the comments some like the Cincinnati angle, and I know we've talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, but like anything going to come out of that, or is this like is the Big 12 like? Do you feel like anybody's going to suggest? Can we look into this still? Like, can we still try to get something out of the Brendan Sorsby situation and go look at Cincinnati in the last 2 years, or is this truly a no one will ever talk about Brendan Sorsby playing college athletics and trying to see what we knew or didn't know while he was playing at Indiana or Cincinnati?
I think it's probably done. I also feel like trying to sanction Cincinnati is like kicking someone while they're down. Like I'm sure they're gonna have a pretty rough year without any conference sanctions coming down on them. So I don't think there will be anyone pushing for that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Do you wish they would though?
I mean,
No.
I always
I don't want to give Cincinnati the time of day.
I don't care if Cincinnati gets punished, but I did just find it so funny that they were allowed to vote in these matters like 15-1 against Tech. Like
So stupid.
the only school that played Sorsby in the Big 12 after he bet on his own team was Cincinnati.
And found out that he gambled not on his own team, but you know,
Yes.
they can say they followed the appropriate protocol, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, sure.
How do you think Brendan Sorsby's feeling right now? Like, what do we think Brendan Sorsby feels? Relief, maybe? Like it's over?
I mean, his football playing days legitimately might be like an NFL team doesn't have to take a shot on him. It may be too much baggage. Like they take the gambling stuff really seriously. I mean, he may have played his last down of competitive football, and that would be a hard thing to reckon with, something that you've probably done your entire life. And more
And it's
unfortunately,
because of a mistake you made.
multiple
mistakes
mistakes
you
you
made.
made, and you probably knew. And that is a really tough way to learn that lesson. But yeah, I'm sure he's devastated.
Conrad, you just I don't know if I'm delayed or you guys have no thoughts on how Brendan's feeling.
No, I just I don't know. I would. I mean, you'd think, when he was in that rehab facility, probably not much access to the outside world, probably not much access to his cell phone, obviously for good reasons. He's had a lot of time to think about this. I hope he hasn't been on social media in terms of seeing what people have said this whole time. I'm sure people hopefully have not sent him stuff, but I'm sure some people have at the same time. I would think for him, he's probably crushed. Probably he has to be crushed. He thought, this year Heisman hopeful, national championship quarterback hopeful, like all these things, and it's just tough, but it's a lesson to everybody that you know actions do have consequences, no matter if you do have a gambling addiction or a diagnosed disorder. Not trying to downplay that, but actions do have consequences, and that's just the reality of the situation that we're in right now. And so, I feel for him. I don't wish anything ill will against him, but I am happy for Texas Tech's sake that this is behind us, and I'm sure he feels some of that relief as well too.
Consequences for everybody, unless you're Ward Manuel, the athletic director at Michigan, where you get to make repeated and constant failures, take the moral high ground, and then not have any consequences. Everybody but that guy gets to deal with consequences.
So I see in some comments to Aguilar 1210. Y'all lied to me this morning. I think we released an episode this morning why Texas Tech is right to defend Brendan Sorsby. We weren't trying to lie to you. I think we believed that Texas Tech did something right. I'm seeing that Sorsby just posted on Instagram.
Thank you, Skeeter 1228. You get a shout out for that.
Let's see if that's
Yeah. He says, let me read it. I'm grateful for the support from my family, my tech coaching staff, teammates, the community, and so many others who have encouraged me to address and learn more about this important issue. As my journey continues, I remain fully committed to and focused on being the best I can be, both on and off the field. Posted that 10 minutes ago. If the ratio matters to you, it has 1,161 likes, 46 reposts on Instagram.
Wow.
My Instagram ball knowledge has decreased significantly since I left college. I just don't know what is important anymore. So maybe that's good, maybe that's bad.
I'm seeing a lot online. Just a reminder, this is from Dan Islet. He says, just a reminder, Texas Tech broke no rules in this situation.
Correct.
Don't forget that. Kirby Hocutt also released a statement, or Kirby and President Skubanek did. It says, earlier this evening, Texas Tech University Board of Regents Chairman Cody Campbell issued an update on Brendan Sorsby and announced that he will not be a member of the Red Raider football team this fall. When Brendan's lawsuit resulted in the granting of a temporary injunction, we found ourselves in a difficult situation. With his health and wellness as our top priority, we supported him in spite of very different perspectives and opinions. This is what you already read?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was new.
Jeffrey Kessler tells ESPN that they have now removed their lawsuit regarding a temporary injunction for his eligibility. It is now moot, so we will withdraw it. And that they have to do that, right, Z? Because if
he needs to,
he has to be ruled ineligible in order to play.
Should we as a show, should we remove a statement or release a statement too?
I think we should.
Does not apologize for anything we said.
We should. Let's type it out right now. I will.
You can write it in the comments.
Write it. Yeah. Right. Maybe we can have someone write our statement for us in the chat.
I need somebody to give us a statement that we should release and who we should direct it at. I want to specifically. There's specific people I will tag.
We need to release that statement immediately.
That would be so funny if we were like tagging our post under Kirby Hocutt. Like, we have also released.
Statement here.
We have also released a statement regarding Brendan Sorsby.
We still support his right to play and think the university is acting unfavorably.
We actually think what Brendan Sorsby. We completely disagree with this ruling by Texas Tech and fight that Brendan should still be our quarterback.
We are going to suffer irreparable harm based on our online reputational damage. We will be suing for an injunction.
John just said the tech biology department just released a statement.
Hey, and if you're here and you have not subscribed to the show, please hit that subscribe button so you can come back all the time, completely free, for content just like this. Just reminding you guys, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you.
Who's going to be the worst person to release a statement on this? Let's take bets on that.
Ward Manuel.
I could see like Matt Rule issuing a statement and being like, "I'm very thankful that this has been resolved."
It's going to be Georgia or Michigan. You know, the ADs that had said we're not going to play. Like Kirby Smart will be like, I'm just glad it got fixed. I hope someone addresses. I hope that the idea that the NCAA is not at fault for the system at play, and that we still need reform, and that suing state within the state and getting legal injunctions. Like, I hope that just isn't lost in all of this, and that this is still used as an example for why the NCAA, as its current form, should not have any say, though it really doesn't, over what happens for the future of college athletics. They're a complete joke. They lost integrity a while ago, and I hope that's not lost in all of this.
There's a lot of funny comment. JB says Ken Paxton releasing a statement would be really funny. That would be really funny. John says the Pete Rose estate will issue a statement.
Pete Rose. Terry Rozier releases a statement.
Yeah.
The only statement I'm concerned about is Will Hammond. That's whose statement I want to see. I am ready to take Texas Tech to the national championship.
He's going to make a statement on the field.
That's exactly right.
That's true. Will's not much of a talker. Zyler, I do have a question for you, though, about Will Hammond. Do you think this means he'll get to wear number 2?
No, dude. He's 15. 15.
No, he's number 2, baby. He came in as number 2, or from high school.
I think he'll stick with 15, but maybe that would be crazy if he were number 2.
I'd love it.
I would like. I
would love that to redeem that number.
It's going to be
not
crazy,
from Barron, but from
us pivoting from like legal analysis to like, has Will Hammond gotten thicker? Like,
yeah, it's like, how's Will Hammond's knee? Like our episodes in July. What is Will Hammond's update on his knee?
Yeah. Hey, question for the comments. 3 of us, right, or 4 of us will be at Big 12 Media Days. Should we get specially embroidered polos with a message for the rest of the Big 12? And if so, what should they say?
I love that. I think our opening question, I think we talked about that with Brennan. The opening question would be so funny to be like, Joey, how does it feel if being the only coach in the conference that supports mental health with your student athletes? Your thoughts on the other members not doing that? Like, it would be such, and you would get kicked out immediately for such a non-serious question, but it would be a way to go down in glory. I think I might.
You know what I'd love to ask Coach, because like these guys are people too, and that there have been points where he's been furious about this, like at the rest of the Big 12 members, like for sure,
Oh,
for
totally.
certain. If he hasn't, I'd be shocked, and I'd love to just hear about that. What if somebody asked him like, Coach, do you really want to be here right now?
Mm. We'll see. Do
You
you
know?
think they take Will to
Like-
media days? I don't think so.
I don't think they take.
I
him
don't
No,
to
I
think
don't
so
think you
either.
take Will to media days.
Yeah.
You got to be very strategic in who you still take to media days, because this will still be talked about. I mean, 3 weeks from now,
Yeah,
it's still
for
going to
sure.
be and I think a lot of people will be asking, what did you think of what happened this summer? Like, every question will still be directed towards the Brendan Sorsby situation, the future of the conference, the suing in between the conference. So I feel like this is not going away in the next month.
You know what I would do is I would just say any question I would talk about whatever I want to talk about. You can ask me about, like, they ask about Sorsby and he's like, man, Austin Romaine looked really good all spring. It looked fantastic this summer. Really grown as a leader. Really proud of him. Brendan Jordan. I mean, that guy's gonna have a massive leap from junior year to senior year, or sophomore year to junior year. Sorry. Like, what if he just didn't answer any question about Sorsby and just directed it completely different?
I would
different
talk.
way.
I actually like that. He should talk a lot about AJ Holmes and Austin Romaine and how they're doing much better at a serious institution after they left their Big 12 counterparts. That's what I would lean into. I would do
Yeah.
something along those
Mhm.
lines.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
gentlemen, it is going to be interesting to say the least, but it was a lot of fun breaking this down with you guys. Like Conrad said earlier, we are here every week talking all things Texas Tech. We'll be here throughout the entire summer. Going to Big 12 Media Days in a few weeks. So subscribe on YouTube. We're going to have a lot of fun content releasing that day as well, too. But Brendan Sorsby will not be playing quarterback for Texas Tech. Will Hammond, Kirk Francis, that entire room will need to step up, but I have a lot of confidence that Texas Tech will still be very good in 2026. So thank you to everyone who tuned in, counted. We appreciate all of you. Had a lot of fun, and we will see you guys Thursday morning to break this down more on the Broadway Shuffle.
Thanks, Brennan.